All right, here we go. Back to the owner of these two beagles. Bill is on the line. Bill, a few inconsistencies there from the story you told us to the one we just got from Jonathan.
Oh my! I don't know what to say, right? Well, to start with, my name is Bill Bavis.
Okay.
Right, so that everybody knows it. I'm not ashamed for anyone to see the dogs or where they're staying or where I'm staying. The second thing is, a couple of minutes before that, I had called into your show and talked to Paddy. And I said, I want to get on the line so that I can thank VOCM for putting me on open line and having that little blip on the news yesterday. Mm-hmm. Maybe that did it, right? And then I appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that done out of the way.
Yep.
I got a call Sunday night. I was out in Lewisport to a major midget hockey tournament. I got a grandson playing. Mm-hmm. And my wife called me and said, they found the dogs. And I said, good enough. She said, I'm hanging up now because I'm expecting a call back from Freddie. That's my friend that found the dog, that originally found the dogs up at top of Roos Avenue in Mount Pearl. Mm-hmm. And I hung up the phone and I said to the crowd, I said, I'm not going to get a wink tonight. I'm so delighted someone found the dogs, right? I said, it's incredible that two dogs could spend 10 days in the woods and then come out and still be alive. Mm-hmm. Freddie also told me that the dog had a rabbit. My dog had a rabbit in its mouth. The older dog had the rabbit. Mm-hmm. Full rabbit in its mouth after taking it out of a slip, I suppose, up there on the way out. Yeah. Anyway, he said she was eating the rabbit. The dog is not pregnant. The dog had a rabbit, and the rabbit is half the size of the dog. So the dog was starved to death. I suppose a wolf downed the rabbit, and then that was it. So that's why the dog looked like it was pregnant. It wasn't pregnant at all. And as far as vets, when I returned Monday morning, or Monday evening, Tuesday morning, the first thing I did was file a police report. Then I wrote up chronologically everything that I did, and I tried to get on open line Tuesday morning. And the girl who was taking the calls said that I could have the last 4 minutes in the show. I said, I don't think 4 minutes is going to be enough. I'm going to pass, and I'll get on this afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I did. And I got on that night. Mm-hmm. And from Lewisport, Sunday night, I called the police.
Right. Did you follow with the SPCA?
And I want them back.
Did you call the SPCA?
I called. I had the SPCA email Sunday night. I talked to the SPCA yesterday and identified myself, and they said, yeah, we received your email from your son, from my son, same name. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, we haven't seen the dogs.
Okay.
Right, so anything and everything that came out of that man's mouth, apart from calling my house once where he raked my wife over the coals and wouldn't let her speak, mm-hmm. He called her once, and the fact that he had the two dogs, that's the only truths. Every other thing that came out of his mouth is a lie.
Okay, so the other day you said that when you got the call that the dogs were spotted and somebody had them, you said that your friend called you were going to come up and get them, but the guy with the dog said, no, don't worry, I'll bring the dogs to him.
Right.
And that's...
As a matter of fact, my son was en route to that area at the time.
Yeah.
And he called in, and my wife said, you don't have to go up, buddy's going to drop the dogs down. Come over and snow blow the snow away from the dogs pound so we won't have no trouble with him, right?
He says that he waited for an hour and then asked your friend to call you again.
He is a barefaced liar. That's all I can tell you. He's a liar. And only for VOCM and Facebook, and the fact that one dog, and I've said it on open line, one dog is unique. She's totally brown. Mm-hmm. She's only 7 months old, and she got 4 white paws. Mm-hmm. And you could pick that dog out of 500 beagles. Mm-hmm. She's that unique. And I'm the guy. I'm the guy that contacted every pound from here to Torbay, mm-hmm. and CBS and Paradise. Yeah. I'm the guy that called Tuesday morning every vet in town and said, if this guy shows up with them dogs, they're mine. They've been in the woods for 10 days. If I was to take that man and put him out in my backyard for 10 days, he'd die.
Oh, listen, we've got lots of people writing in to say that they've seen dogs who've spent some time in the woods and they look like hell. They're all torn up and they don't weather it that well. But, you know, he asserts that he called your wife and she said, well, just let him go again.
Yes, after I walked somewhere between 40 and 50 kilometers the week before in the woods to get him.
Yeah.
She's going to say let him go.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, you have the dogs back. Clearly, he says he wasn't happy to have to leave them with the RNC because the RNC seemed to suggest to him that, hunting dogs don't have to be treated well, and that's normal for them, and these are, working dogs, and don't worry about it.
He is so full of it. He is so full of it. The only thing true to this story is that after 10 days in the woods, them dogs were in sad shape.
Right.
But I over in Southlands, I went to Southlands one day and drove up there by the golf course, and there was construction workers. They're working on houses, and there was a guy there in an excavator and a dump truck. I talked to all them people to see if I could get the dogs. Now this is Wednesday. They've already been missing 5 days. Then
right.
I walked from Southlands to the Trans-Canada. 2 times, twice I did it.
Bill, do you think he just made up this story to give himself a way out? That he had a change of heart and thought he was going to get caught?
Let me tell you what he did. He got pictures of the dogs.
He says he has.
He said he got pictures of the dogs because I guess he figured he'd keep the dogs for a week or so, and this is the way I got them, and this is the way they are now. And this fella Bill Bavis, whose name is on the collar, why would I do anything like abandon dogs and have the 2 collars on them with their names on them and hunting bells, so that you'll know where they are in the woods. Why would I have them on dogs if I was going to mistreat them or put them anywhere, put my name on them?
Right.
You know, nothing he said makes any sense to anyone is rational.
Well, you've made a lot of great points, Bill. I got to say, you certainly come across as extremely credible in this, and you were the first caller here. You know, we have 2 completely contradicting pieces of information here, and I guess people can make up their own minds.
I'm going to tell you something now. If anyone wants to find out the real truth, all they got to do is drive up to the top of Roose Avenue. There's been trucks hauling clay up there since I'll say since the first week of September. And ask them, do they see my car or my truck up there and me walking down the path with the gun and the dogs? Because I'm after being up there 25 times the fall, at least 25 times. And these guys on the trucks, they see my truck parked there, they see me going with the dogs.
Yep.
And you know.
Bill, how are the dogs now?
The dogs, the one that was supposed to be pregnant, she's 4.5 years old, and she's worse than the pup. The pup is only 7 months old, and the pup is in real good shape. The older one, she got a couple of small spots on her pads that are raw, but you know, another 2 or 3 days and they'll be as good as new. They won't be as big as what they were, because you tend to overfeed them when you're not running them every day. So you know, but they're in better shape than I thought they were going to be in.
Okay.
And maybe that's thanks to Buddy.
All right.
I mean, I wouldn't know how to abuse a dog. It's just not in me. And I don't know how to lie either. And I'm no good at lying. I get caught in a lie every time, as he is.
Have the dogs? Somebody wants to know. Did you take the dogs to the vet, or do they need to be seen?
No, they don't need to go to the vet. There's a couple of little marks on their pads, and I guess that's why he didn't take them to the vet either. He assumed, because I don't know what vet he took them to, because I called everyone that's in the yellow pages. You know, I'd like to know which vet he took them to that said the dog was pregnant.
All right, Bill. It's been an interesting journey.
If it wasn't so maddening, right, it'd be comical.
Yeah, I can imagine your frustration, but at least the best news is the dogs are back. They're fine. They're going to be okay. And anything else that went on, I guess we're just going to have to file it away for future consideration.
In the meantime, now, just before you go, when I got the dogs, they had no collars on them. So that whoever that person is, he has my collars, and I'm going to be sending the police to get them back.
Okay.
So I just wanted him to be aware of that. And again, without VOCM, none of this would have happened. You guys cover everybody, and I wouldn't doubt that he lives pretty close to me, because other than that, maybe he would keep the dogs.
All right. Well, we hope this is the end of it, and that the dogs don't get lost in future. And whatever the story was that led to him bringing the dogs back, at least he did, and they're back in your possession. And we assume they're going to be good dogs from here on in.
Oh, they are good dogs. Otherwise, I would, maybe I wouldn't fight for them to get them back if the dogs were no good. But they're as good as what you're going to get when you're talking about hunting dogs.
All right. Well, presumably they're quite happy to be home, as happy as you are to have them. Right,
and I'm the guy that did all the legwork, right? He didn't have to do no legwork. He knew where the dogs belonged. I'm the guy that had to fight and scratch and claw to get them back, and put notices on people's cars around the parking lots and that.
Okay, you going to sleep tonight?
Like a log.
Okay. All the best, Bill.
Thanks again.
Thanks for calling. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.